like to do is introduce Wayne Kopan. And Wayne, your title, forgive me.
Manager of Environmental and Building Construction Service.
It's long.
Work supervisor.
Yeah, and I usually have it written on my hand, but I'm watching
It takes too long.
So Wayne, he is currently working on the Green Bin project that'll be kicking off here in Grand Forks October the 2nd. So we don't want to hold him up too long. He's going to update us on Jordan's Nephelometer study that he did this summer. Did you have any copies to hand out?
Yes, I do. I've got 20 copies of the actual report over on the table there. And then I've just got 5 printed copies of the 3 months of maps that Jordan has done. And if anybody wants to get these copies, I've got it on a PDF, so I can email it to anybody that would like them. Just leave share with an email address, and I'll forward them to you. So basically, what is done? We've done a 3-month complete study of the valley. We've traveled quite an extensive route, and Jordan has done many days out there. The end result of this thing at this point is that we're finding is that when we have the cold and wet weather in June, our levels remain very low. As the weather got hotter, our levels started to climb, and they started to climb excessively with the traffic picking up in July and August on Central. So we're attributing a lot of the PM2 to exhaust and dust. The hotter it got, the more logging truck traffic we had on the North Fork, the higher the levels went there. More truck traffic on Central, levels went up. One good thing that came out of this, and I haven't had a chance to do a complete and thorough breakdown on the maps, but what we're seeing is that Inner 4 was doing a massive rebuild in their log yard. A lot of truck traffic, a lot of dust. Vauxhall had a lot of industry and stuff going on. The levels around our industrial park were not excessive. They were no higher than anywhere else in town. They are not our contributors to the airship level. At times they did have spikes, but they're anomalies. I will give people maps to look at them. I really believe that a majority of our issue is with the truck traffic and dust from farms and off-roads, logging trucks coming out of the hills. SUVs. So that's a majority of what we found so far. And if anybody has any other questions, yes, Gary.
So we will be running this over the winter.
What we've got now is a group of 5 or 6 volunteers that will be taking this unit out on a voluntarily basis. They'll be going around town. We'll be doing stationary spot checks. We may even take it out to Greenwood, Midway, just set it up there, give them an idea of what their airship's doing.
Right.
I'm thinking that in October, once people start using their wood stoves again, you're going to start to see spikes. I honestly believe that a lot of this has to do with wood stoves and dust. We had some high days in August when we had the wildfires down south that were blowing the smoke in. Those days were excessive. But then within 2 days, the wind came up, blew it out, and we're right back to low levels again.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, the
What were the
focus will be
anomalies you mentioned?
anomalies or
The
Anomalies. It's just one spot you'll get a spike all of a sudden. The very first day we went out, it was extremely low, except we had 3 really high readings right around Atwood Bridge. But yet we couldn't see any visible sign of any burning wood stove or whatever. Couldn't figure out just what caused it, but there was a spike there for 2 days, and then it went away. So you'll see those on the map that show up every once in a while. But other than that, they're pretty consistent.
So we can send this all on.
Yeah, I can send these electronically. Basically what the maps have is every day that he did a recording, it has the wind direction, temperature, humidity, and what type of conditions were going on that day when he did the route. And he has a daily report on every, and the map is there so you can kind of see. And you'll see little spots where it's high here, the high there. One day he was driving up Central Avenue and he got behind a truck, and as he started pulling up the hill, black smoke came up, and all of a sudden the thing went and spiked again. So he just picked up diesel smoke that day.
This is on a website somewhere too.
Yes, this is also on the
I know
website.
I went and read it here a few weeks back.
Yeah, you can get in there as well. I found the website a little difficult to maneuver in,
It's a little bit, but it's there.
but it is there as well.
Is it under the city?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I like the old city website better. I couldn't even get at the bylaws like it did. The old way, it was like click, click, click. Yeah, it's overdone or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's just too much on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
much
yeah.
information.
We do a lot of work.
There may be hope yet because we just got our RFP for the branding, and part of the deliverables will be redo of the website. So look forward to something similar.
Just go back to the old one.
Jenny?
Just a question. There was before this Nephelometer study, there was a model created, right, on air?
The airshed model, yeah.
Yeah. Does this validate that model at all? Or was
I
that-
haven't, like I said, I haven't had a chance to sit down and go through this.
Yeah, there's work to be done yet.
Yeah, I've got a lot of follow-up to do this fall
Right.
to try and compare the data.
Yeah.
And we need the wood smoke data too. You see, missing from this, is like you need almost a whole year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you really do, because summer is summer, like Wayne's saying, like all the truck traffic, dust.
Absolutely.
We get a lot more traffic on the
It
highway.
must be 2 years. Just to-
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, the more the better. The more information you have, the better. But at least it's a tool. I mean, this is all sort of not even considered scientific even, right? By some people, they would poo-poo what we're doing, but we're curious. And this is, we can't do it any other way because Ministry of Environment doesn't have staff anymore to send out. So it's a do-it-yourself project. And
Probably.
just use common sense, that's all.
And you guys have a crew for the winter, like volunteers to?
Well, we'll have to determine that. That was one of the reasons
Well,
I was hoping to find that out.
Noticeably absent today is Chris Moslin, who, is so strong on this.
Yeah.
And so he did send me an email. He's a new grandpa. And baby was supposed to arrive September 28th by cesarean. And he arrived on Sunday. So Kathy and Chris were headed off to Williams Lake for the baby's arrival. But he did, however, tell me, I will of course volunteer to do Nephelometer surveys this fall and winter. I did the drive with Jordan and I also studied his recording methods with him during the summer. Although I am not conversant with the whole process yet, I think I have enough skills and understanding to start a local do-it-yourself study of our airshed this winter. So Chris is willing to head this up. The purpose will be to identify areas within the city that are particularly impacted by wood smoke, road dust, or industrial pollution during the winter months. With this knowledge, the Environment Committee may be able to give further advice to council in the spring on bylaws, bylaw enforcement, road paving, and zoning. I also regret that I won't be able to attend the forum the following evening on Clear the Air for the BC Land Association at Selkirk College. So one added final comment from Chris. Our community has been at the forefront in creating the partnerships that can bring improvements to our air quality. And we continue to work at this as proud to do-it-yourselfers. I look forward to working with other volunteers for our committee to make this happen. So I can see this as a subcommittee under air quality that will initiate itself. Chris will be getting hold of everybody who has offered to volunteer. Paul, I believe you offered to volunteer, and John, and Peter. Yeah, and myself. Yeah, we've got a number of people. So if there is anybody else, just email Chris Moslin, and he's going to be organizing the initial startup of the project. Okay?
Dave Milton, that's what
Yeah.
we emailed there.
Yes, Dave Milton.
And one other aspect of this, it doesn't necessarily have to be traveled. It can be set up stationary, so when we do get a pocket or an area in town where you see a lot of wood stoves being used, we can set it up in that neighborhood for 24 hours
Right.
and see how their levels spike compared to other neighborhoods. So we can kind of get a location around town where our sources are.
One thing they did up north there when they were doing this, MOE, of course, did the testing, but they would take the thing and they would put it in homes and leave it there for a week. So they picked homes with non-smoking families with an old wood burner, smoking families with, like they had specific things that they checked off. And one of the biggest eye-openers to people was the fact that the non-smoking homes were equally just as bad
Oh, interesting.
as smoking homes if you had an old wood-burning stove in there. It was one of the things that really got the government going on the wood exchange program, is that the interior home air quality is severely compromised if you're burning with wood and not doing it up to snuff. So I was going to even look into doing something similar to that around town here, see if I could find somebody who still is using an old wood stove and see as a tool to convince them why they need to exchange that
Have you
stove.
found one yet?
Well, no, but I was wondering about the possibility of doing it. Like Wayne says, you could just actually go and you set the thing up and just leave it be. I mean, how long will that thing run on its own?
If you go into a house, you can just plug it into the
Oh,
wall. It'll
right,
run
yeah.
indefinitely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's in the car and it runs off an inverter, so I'm not sure how long it lasts
On the batteries.
on batteries.
But we can use it like in a zillion different ways. Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you could put it in a school and just see what the air quality is like in a school or at the hospital or wherever. You can set this thing up and it'll just sit there and sniff away. And that way you don't have to tie it into the GPS either,
That's
because
right.
it's not moving.
Yeah, GPS is only for the mobile
Yeah.
testing that we were doing.
Good.
So-
Any other questions for Wayne? We're going to get him out there. I saw you doing my green bins this morning.
I've still got about 350 more to go in the next
Yeah, mid
4.
Irish.
Not yet. We're getting there.
Could I be added to the Nephelometer?
Oh, wonderful. Yay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind doing that too. I slow down a bit later, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's an interesting thing to work with.
Yeah, cool. The green bins, the little ones, are they in the big ones?
Yep.
Oh, okay, I didn't look.
They're inside, the bags are
Okay.
inside, the information package is inside.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now I'm finding I'm only getting about 20% of the homes that I'm visiting that I'm actually getting to talk to the people.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's at work,
Yeah.
and we don't have time to go chasing door to door to catch them all, but I'm sure we'll be getting lots of phone calls.
I thought the whole package was great. Like my kids had a card, they read the whole brochure, they had it all put together, bags in the right, it was good. We love it, we're excited, so.
Well, actually, it's been good so far. We've had, I'd say, probably about a 95% positive response to it. We have a few people there that are reluctant to change, but it's looking really good right now.
Yes,
Is there a program in this town or bylaw to control dust on construction site?
Not that I'm aware of.
we're like, look at that.
Well, the area where they're building this Golden Life, they've opened a lot of ground.
That big windstorm that came
No,
along,
it's-
I witnessed that. That was
And it's not only
amazing.
the windstorm, they have machinery running around and they always have a brown cloud.
Yeah, there's nothing that I'm aware of as far as a construction site goes.
Because they'll be doing good if they spray the water on it or something to keep the dust out.
And you'd have to have that, there'd have to be a bylaw that everybody has to control dust on their land, kind of a bylaw. Like, an all-inclusive, no matter what's going on,
Yeah.
thou shalt not create dust. And just like we have the thou shalt not pollute with the wood stove.
I'll take the question to the CAO and email everybody our findings so that we're,
Sure.
yeah.
Also, is there any discussion going on with Area D to talk about their burning?
They're, oh, yes, yes.
Like, what's
You
the
mean
state
the
of that?
outdoor burning?
Well, field burning, outdoor
Well, I
burning.
get
whatever.
a very negative reaction from the current director. She just seems to have she doesn't think it's an issue. She
Right.
thinks it's rural people. Her sort of words were that rural people want to be left alone. That's why they're rural people.
Doesn't mean that they don't.
They don't want laws. Yeah, in other words, we prefer not to have laws
Right,
if we're rural.
right.
Like, don't bug us about,
Well, it's,
But
Yeah,
that's
nice
really, that's an untenable situation, isn't it?
yeah,
Right?
no, it's just.
Because you can't have one person on the west side of North Fork Road, having an open fire and you know, and guess where it's all going? It's going straight down the valley.
No, she even declined any support of the Woodstow program, which is, and I mean, I do the whole regional district, and I only really have Greenwood and Area D aren't like that. Like everybody else is like all on board with the Woodstow program.
So maybe this is something that's got to go up to the RDKB and KPLG and that kind of stuff to see if there's support there from other communities.
Well, we have been working extensively with.
Yeah.
I think
Okay, I'm sorry, I just didn't know what their.
Because it is a natural process.
at the regional district
for
level,
our
they are globally working
Yes.
on these things.
In fact, I included in there, in your package, the, I apologize, they're not numbered. First of all, it's numbered everything. The regional district greenhouse gas reduction guide for landfill owners, and so they do have backyard burning enforcement problem areas. I just wanted to include their recent brochures, so maybe it's something we can look at to work with them.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
lots
instead of being adversarial, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a way we can work together.
Yeah.
And, trying to recognize
Yeah,
that
we all share
we're after
the same airshed,
exactly.
so,
It seems to be just a very slow process that, like I said, at the regional district level, they are working towards being as green as they possibly
Right.
can.
Right.
And so that would include, that they would have global bylaws that include the whole regional
Exactly,
district.
right.
And that seems to be the only way it'll
That
come
is gonna
about
fly,
for
right?
Area D at this point.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not all of us who live in Area D share our directors.
Yeah. No.
I have telephone calls from people on the road very upset. And where do they go? They tried every level. No help.
Yeah, you really,
They couldn't even see outside past their driveway.
Yeah.
it's a pirate's life out there.
Well, somebody's got to walk the plank.